On the Line podcast. You're back.
Square,
JJ Fomby Jr.
Squares beware, beware.
And speaking of squares, as you see, we at the square. We at the wooden square table. This where all the square shit go down. So we about to get square biz today.
Every day I wait for like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, speaking peace on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day on the line. Every day.
First of all, what's going on in the world with these bus drivers and transits? They getting in the melee.
Man, I know one day, the other day, we had a lady who was on the 405 freeway running. If y'all can check this out, Google her up. Lady was on something. I don't know what she was on. She was on some hallucinogenic drug, driving up the 405 north the wrong way.
In the utility van.
Yeah, and it smacked a bunch of cars and jumped on the diesel.
Man, that's scary, man. That's scary.
Yeah, you know what? That was wild. I'm glad I wasn't on that freeway at that time in the morning, but yeah, the bus driver, you know what? The bus drivers always got, I ain't gonna say always got beat up, but they got took off on
man. But being a bus driver was always rough.
A tough job.
If you was out growing up in the 80s and 90s in LA somewhere, you remember the RTD.
Yeah, Renadina and Trina.
Yeah, rough, tough, and dangerous, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's how it was growing up, man. But yeah, shout out to all the transit drivers out there, man. You just stay prayed up and watch yourself. But these people is getting ridiculous.
You know what, man?
I thought we was wild sneaking in the back and gang banging on the bus, but this is a whole nother level. We ain't never took off on the bus driver though.
I seen that happen, but not in the magnitude that they got.
Yeah.
But most of them bus drivers had blades and pistols on them back then, so some of them were going for it. So don't meet the wrong bus driver, be male or female, and meet your end. So you better behave yourself.
If they driving, if they got a route that's a night route.
Oh yeah.
It's people lately, regular folk like ourselves, squares that just want to work and go home, they get the bad end of the stick, man. People be going to their jobs and the burger ain't right, or the checkout stand and getting into it with these people. What's up with that, man? What's going on?
Man, after that, I would say after the pandemic, it enhanced a lot of people's craziness, because you gotta look, they've been killing these people on these buses. Now, I'm not saying if they look at the statistics from the 80s, the 90s, and then the early 2000s and where they at now, how many murders they had on the bus. There was a lot of stuff going on then, but it was I recall a lot of gang stuff.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was that
people fighting each other on the bus. They ain't whooping on the actual driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is getting out of hand, and what they going on now, the mayor, the young lady of the mayor of Los Angeles is
Karen Bass.
Yeah, Karen, there you go. She's pushing more law enforcement to these stations, metro stations and bus routes and stuff like that. It's not a thing to have an officer on the bus on their route, because safety is important, man. You might want to come to work and be like, nah, I ain't driving this bus.
Yeah,
my route is bad.
Yeah, it depends when you're cutting that, cutting through and all that. So yeah, I look at it in the aspect of this way. They got all these cameras again. We're back to the camera stuff. And then the cameras ain't deterring them nobody. It appears like the cameras ain't deterring nobody, because the act's still taking place.
Right.
So a lot of people just don't give up. It appears to show that a lot of people don't give a damn about being camera. You know what I'm saying?
They smile for the camera.
You got what I'm coming from. So that's the time of the era we in. When we grew up, we didn't want to ever be on no camera when we were doing something wrong. That's a no-go. So, and what I'm saying now is that they trying to fortify for the driver to be like, closed in, won't get attacked, but what about the people? And just...
Yeah, not only the driver, the actual passengers too. They need safety. People be on there with the kids, and you got elderly people on there.
There's a lot going on. But
children, teenagers,
Let me ask you this question. When's the last time you've been on a public transportation bus? I'm going to be honest with you.
Man, this had to be 2003.
I think the last time I rode a bus, and I think I had my truck was getting painted up here on I think it was on Long Beach on Magnolia, and I had to take the bus. I didn't have to, I didn't want to call nobody. I didn't want to take no Ubers and Lyft. I was just going down the street. I got on a bus early in the morning, and I didn't know what it cost. I just had like a bunch of singles, like 5 singles. I got on the bus just to ride, like, you know, whatever it was, several blocks down to my spot, to my street to walk down to the house. And I got on the bus, and I was like, man, I ain't been on the bus since the 80s.
Yeah,
I think I started taking the bus in the 80s when I started out to put a collar back on them and start getting my own car. Them squares don't know nothing about
it's
that.
dangerous riding public transportation itself.
Yeah, you know, and I think,
Metro rails, buses, you know.
yeah,
Even taking Uber and Lyft and stuff.
or shuttle service or whatever. But what I'm getting to is that public transportation ain't something that we do, especially being black males. You know, I'm not saying blacks don't run them. We knew growing up and our stigma of how people look at us and then what we was involved in kept us away from the bus and got our own whip. So even like now they for to have the people mover going into LAX.
Mm-hmm.
See, people out here don't really drive public transportation. We got a couple of dollars, we ain't driving no public transportation. We ain't riding public transportation.
Well, they got some people can't help it though, man. You know,
only with those who can. I
Yeah.
understand. And then I talked to a guy a couple of days ago. He worked for the company, lived in Long Beach, and they paid him not to bring his car to work and ride the whatever line, the blue line from
Yeah, they
Long
make
Beach to
them-
LA.
yeah.
And in situations like that, yeah, you gonna pay me not to drive to work? I might do that. You know, take that risk.
Nope.
You wouldn't take that risk?
Nope.
They even told you what the number was?
Nope.
I ain't trying to get rid of my car. I'm just
Because
saying.
then it's you know, catching a bus is a factor, man. You got to get up to learn that bus line, that route, what time it come, or if it come every 30 minutes, every 15 minutes. It's just you know. And I ain't been on the bus. I'm just going off
For the past.
from the past how the
Yeah.
route. It could be faster now. I don't know, but I do know this.
No, there's a schedule. We know
Yes,
that.
I do know safety has always been a concern.
Oh, but definitely, you got to have
Yeah,
something.
because you got people, man. Look, you got
gotta have
people on
something to
the
be on
bus.
this bus.
They smoking.
Oh, yeah.
They doing all kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, you got-
When we were
Circus
heavy,
on-
when we were heavy on the bus, it was more of, I hope the enemies, or I hope these dudes don't be sweat me on the bus. But now that's way bigger issues than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got it's a moving Peachtree disc
Yes,
and a mobile circus.
yes.
Because you got all kind of weirdos.
You got
on
all
the bus.
kind of people, and then we got to factor in too. COVID is over, but it ain't over.
Yeah.
And all the germs and just people coughing and standing next to you and pickpocketing and it's just,
bumping and grinding.
Yeah, it's a
when
lot
you
of
ain't
stuff
supposed to
on
be
there, yeah.
bumping and grinding. Yeah,
And
it's a
for
lot going on.
the actual driver itself, you know, he got to deal
He or she.
with different personalities,
Oh, yeah.
and then people
That's a
don't
lot.
want to pay, and they got the wrong transfer, and they just get on, and it's a lot being, you know, it's a lot being a public transportation, you know, driving the buses and stuff like
And
that.
that's when they trying to get automated vehicles. Probably won't have a bus where ain't gonna be no driver after a while. The bus just be driving. But the circuit's gonna continue going on.
I think for now, it's more wiser at this moment to have law enforcement on there, maybe 1 or 2 people
Yeah, well, they
just
got
to take the routes.
also they don't have some law. They got some people they call them ambassadors. So you're like what was the people used to they came to not guardian angels. What are they called? Something like angels. I don't know what they is, but they peacemakers. They on the bus. Yeah, I work in different states, but that don't work out in LA County. You can get booed back.
You
ain't
need
got no
real law enforcement with a real gun, with real cuffs.
With real bullets.
That the next stop, the real police to take you to jail once we get to the next stop.
You know what? When that I don't want to bring that up, but when that's an activity where the dude got off on the canines down in up there at the Willowbrook station.
Yeah,
Yeah. Vicious.
yeah.
But
And that's the first, if I'm not mistaken, the Willowbrook station, like between Watson and LA, that's the first metro. Was that the first blue line?
one of them called blue.
Yeah, I think it was the blue line.
Blood, they
Yeah,
might be
well,
blue
yeah,
line.
yeah.
You know.
And it's crazy because 10 minutes, shit, less than 10 minutes from there is a jail.
I'm talking about Linwood.
Yeah, Linwood Police
Yeah,
Station.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And the
But I
sheriff's
think,
station.
yeah, I think having some type of law enforcement, it may not, it'll ease the driver make him do his job better, because I can't be thinking about fighting you and driving this big old bus and I'm hitting people, and it's just a lot going on.
Yeah, it is, man. Shout out to the bus driver state. Hey, may the force be with y'all bus drivers.
Every day I wake for like my life on the line. Jungle in these streets, speaking beats are on the line. Hustle to increase, put it all on the line. House to spouse, family, freedom, walking yards on the line. Every day on the line. Every day on the line. Every day on the line.